Hi, guys, and welcome back to What's the Obsession? And let me just see. Hi, guys, how's it going? Hi, John McSmith and Green Eyes, Yarn and Mittens, Molson Man, Edward, how are you doing? Let's see who else is here. Utter Nutter, thank you for being here, my love. And Sharon Norris, hi, how are you doing? Esther, am I saying that right? Welcome, how are you doing, Esther? I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, just correct me. Let's see. Crosshatch, how are you doing? Welcome. Nice to see you. DC Primetime, how's it going, my friend? And saw you a couple times tonight. I love it when that happens. And let's see if anyone else is here. I think that's, did I say hi to Sharon? Yeah. So welcome. It's great to see everybody. So Kylie Rodney. Oh my gosh. Have you guys been following this case? Hi, Double R. How are you? Yes, of course you're in the right place. Welcome. How are you doing? It's always great to have you here. Are you guys following this case? This is just getting crazier and crazier by the moment. Yarn and Mitten says I sound exhausted. I've lost my voice a little bit. Let me get a drink here. Excuse me. I'm going to mute just for a minute so I can get a drink. While I'm doing that, let me just bring something into the stream. How's everyone doing this evening? What is it? Tuesday, Monday? I don't even know. Yesterday was Labor Day, so it's Tuesday. Oh my gosh. It's like that. Oh, geez. Okay, let's see. Is it that? 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 It's none of those. Let's see here. Bum, 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 bum. Actually, so you know what? Let me try this out. Whoops. Let's try this. Let's see if this works. So just taking a little short walk down memory lane back to the beginning, at least, kind of as I knew it of this case. Well, I knew Kylie Rodney was missing before Adventures with Purpose got involved, but let's see if this works.
A mother is missing her 16-year-old daughter.
Yeah, tomorrow marks 2 weeks since the Truckee teenager disappeared after attending a party at a campground.
She was either hungover or just had a really rough day. She looked distressed.
When do you think that this took place? Parked his van right here, facing that direction. Her vehicle was parked right over here. I have set a radius of 10 miles around Prosser Creek Reservoir. We're going to work hard to clear Stampede, Independence, Boca, and Prosser Creek, all within that 10-mile range. I've just located in the corner of this cove here a target that I cannot identify. 18 different agencies, over 19,000 man-hours have been put into this. I'm a firm believer in second chances. However, some things don't deserve forgiveness. Taking the life of a 16-year-old deserves zero forgiveness.
There, you see that?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense though. It's only 10 feet of water. We definitely have something man-made. If this is her, this means all hope is lost as far as her still being out there, her being found safe.
What would you want to say to Kylie tonight?
I love her so much. So many people love her. And we're all looking and we're trying so hard. And I'm so sorry we haven't found you yet, but we're not giving up and just hang in there, sweetie. This place is soon bring you home.
I don't want to find her. I want to be able to clear all this water and be able to tell the family she's not here. She's not here. Our job is to be here to find the where.
Confirm. I see the vehicle and the license plate. We have just found Kylie's vehicle. Over. A mother is missing her 16-year-old daughter.
Yeah, tomorrow marks 2 weeks since the Truckee teenager disappeared after attending a party at a campground.
She was either
Okay, guys. So the case of Kylie Rodney, just super quick, high level overview. Kylie Rodney is the missing teen. She went missing. Oh my gosh, what was it? In early August. I don't know the dates and all the details like the back of my hand like I do in the Watts case. So I have some notes here. I've been watching all along. But if I get a couple things incorrect here and there, feel free to correct me if you know for sure. Ain't no shame in that. And that's fine. I want everybody to get the facts and to get them as straight and on the narrow as possible. So Kylie Rodney went missing. She was missing for a long time. Nobody could find her. She was last seen at a party. She's a senior graduating high school in a town called Truckee. I saw the comment about pinging in Truckee. Would almost be fun. It's funny. I get you. So she's a senior. She was at a farewell party out in the woods. I grew up in a community where we did this as teens. We went party. We went out and partied in the woods. You know, when I was a teenager, we had kegs. Now it seems like they have, God, I don't even know what. Actually, we're going to be getting into a few of those details this evening. So Kylie arrived with her best friend, whose name is Mags or Magdalene. And then she hung out at the party with a girl named Sammy Smith. Now, Sammy is apparently a new friend. According to some of Kylie's friends, Sammy wasn't really her friend at all. These details are to be debated or disputed, and we can get into all of that later. Kylie had a recent ex-boyfriend. Dude's name is Jagger. You know what I should do? I should get some visuals up here. And he was not at the party. He was actually several hours away. At some point, and these details are somewhat new, a fight broke out at the party. This is what ended the party. These details have been confirmed. And apparently the fight was at least between Kylie Rodney and another girl. That's all we know for sure. At that point, the party busted up. This is around midnight, Friday, going into Saturday. Kylie Rodney's phone last pinged around 12:30, midnight and 30, in the area of the campground. It's called Prosser Campground next to Prosser Lake, right in that area where the party was, never to be seen or heard from again alive. So this group called Adventures with Purpose, who usually does recovery dives, so finding, cars that had wrecked, had crashed into a body of water, and then recovering the body. In fact, they have done 24 of such recoveries, which is a really remarkable thing. It brings a lot of solace and peace and, just a sense of completeness and wholeness to the victims' families, as you can imagine. So they tend to not like to do, or so they say. I'm a big fan of Adventures with Purpose. They themselves are controversial. I think they're heroes. I have a hard time figuring out the real problem people have with them, but that's a whole nother topic for another day. They were receiving a lot of requests to look for Kylie Rodney because it was presumed that she was perhaps in one of the several lakes that were right around Prosser Campground. So law enforcement had been searching for 12 days with a total of 300 boots on the ground, totaling 19,000 hours of manpower that included 18 or 19 agencies. So after 12 days, no trace of Kylie Rodney. So it's like, did she choose to leave? Did she run away? What is going on here? Some people had theories. No one really had a clue that was based in fact. Adventures with a Purpose comes in. A short time searching, and there's a lot of details in between. I'm just giving the high level overview here. They did find Kylie in her car, submerged in just 14 feet of water, just hundreds of yards from the campground where the teen party was. And her remains were not in the driver's seat as one would imagine, or even in the back seat of the vehicle, but they were in fact all the way in the very back, like the hatchback of the vehicle, which is really a very curious situation. So I'm going to bring up a couple of pictures here. Let's see. Let's see, which way should we go first? Just give me one moment here. I lost my voice just a little bit, as you can hear, and my favorite mic, well, my only mic, busted. So I'm just improvising a little bit here. Let's see what we got. Oops. Let's see. There's just one portion of. Here we go. Okay, so I'm just going to bring something into the stream for just a moment. So I think a lot of you are familiar with the players here. For those of you that aren't, I'm just going to give you a little quick overview. Then we're going to get into the new details that have been disclosed in the past few days. And just through the process of having conversations with people and other creators and other connections I have who are closer to this case, I learned for myself, I learned some brand new interesting facts this evening. And I think some of them are going to be new to you guys as well. So I'm going to try to get to those real quick. Yeah, this one's fine. Okay.
Judging how he's saying things,
yeah,
he's just confused. He's a 17-year-old in love.
possibly.
And he just found.
Oops. Let's see here.
She responded to what I was saying. And
so this is Jagger Westfall, Kylie Rodney's ex-boyfriend. Okay.
Kylie Rodni launching his own search for her and telling us about the last time he and her friends saw her. Thanks for joining us for Fox 40 News at 5. I'm Nikki Lorenzo.
And I'm Eric Harriman. Fox 40 has live team coverage in the search for Kylie. Eric Rucker is in Truckee for us this evening as a massive team of law enforcement and community members spend a fifth day trying to find her.
We're going to start with Fox 40's Arena Shaddix, who's joining us now live near Reno. And Ro, you spoke exclusively with Kylie's close friend and her boyfriend, who are checking some of the locations where she spent some time. What do they have to say?
Well, Nikki and Eric, I'm standing at a location above Reno. Take a look behind me. It is absolutely gorgeous here. This is a place where Kylie and her boyfriend Jagger spent many hours together. He and a close friend described her as a very smart young woman, a tough girl, and they are confident she is still alive. It's been 5 days since Kylie's boyfriend, Jagger Westfall, has heard from her. He says they exchanged text messages before she left for a senior farewell party at the Prosser family campground, the last place anyone so far has reported seeing her.
and so I was just like, okay, be safe. Don't do anything stupid.
He says he complained about his day and she listened.
At 10:30, she responded to what I was saying and just said, oh, I'm sorry that you're going through that. And that was the last time I heard from her.
Kylie's close friend Kate Kuno says they spent the afternoon together on Friday, just hours before she disappeared.
The day of the party, I hung out with her. We made creme brulee. She was, everything was normal. I don't think she ran later. I would have noticed if something was slightly off.
While law enforcement, including the FBI, continue their search in and around the Prosser campground and reservoir, Jagger, Kate, and another friend went to Reno to search for themselves for Kylie. Only Fox 40 News was invited to go along. Kate says they were in Reno the day before the party, and Reno is a place Jagger and Kylie could go for some alone time. We followed them to a location in the hills where Jagger and Kylie spent some time in the past.
I definitely feel like that in this current situation that she's safe. I don't know where she is. We don't have anything to go off of at this point, but I fully believe that she's alive and well, and I fully believe that the two of us, three of us, or other people are going to bring her home safe.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I know. Okay.
Now, Jagger again would like people to come forward who were there that night that may have any information that can really help in this investigation with law enforcement. He says they can stay anonymous. We will have much more for you later on tonight on this story. Reporting live in.
Okay, so I mean, all right, I know DC, it's like complete Watts vibes, like verbatim Watts vibes. That was kind of crazy, but without some of the things. Okay, and so let me stop it there. Okay, so I'm sorry. So during the last live stream, because this is Watts the Obsession, we were discussing whether or not this case had Watts vibes or not. And we were specifically discussing that when we were discussing Jagger Westfall, who is Kylie Rodney's ex-boyfriend. So as it goes, you know, as time goes on with these cases, this often tends to happen. I know I will speak for myself. When this case first broke and then, you know, Adventures with Purpose found Kylie Rodney and she was in the car, even though there were some suspicious circumstances. In fact, when the diver who found Kylie, his name is Nick, there's a few Nicks in this story. We're also going to find out today, if you don't already know, there's a couple Nates once again, right? You know, he came up from, you know, doing his dive, came up. He just said, she's not in the driver's seat. She's in the back. I suspect foul play. So after he, you know, did the dive, located Kylie's remains, his first impression was there was foul play. Now, I personally think that there is a lot to be said for first impressions. I don't know about you guys, but, you know, that's kind of how I feel about it. So when he said that in that video, I thought it was very powerful. In fact, when I watched the entire Adventures with Purpose video, the members only one, the 47-minute one that came out, it was so intense for me. It actually made me physically sick. Like I threw up. I've never had that I can think of a reaction like that to a true crime, you know, piece of information or dramatic work or documentary or, you know, factual statement. I was talking to someone earlier this evening about the various theories that are going around based on the evidence that has come out recently. And she kind of reflected back to me, you know, I think you had that reaction because, you know, at that moment, you knew that her friends were involved. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to make that statement on my own. I wouldn't be so bold as to say that, like, this is my theory. That's what I think about the Kylie Rodney case. I think her friends were involved, and I think this is who and why. I'm very reserved regarding putting out theories about true crime. I like to have facts line up, pie charts, right, DC prime time, and then, you know, we can start making some determinations. But my gut feeling personally, as evidenced by watching that video, was something was very off in a very sickening manner. So I'm kind of like tap dancing around other things that could be said. But man, I want to hear what you guys think. I just want to show you, before moving forward, the car. Let's see. You guys were just chatting about the car in chat there. Let's take a look at what the inside of the car looks like. So, oops. Let's see here. No, pause. I wanted the midway. I love you, StreamYard. We're best friends. They didn't even come in chat. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm bringing this into chat. I'm sorry, into the stream. All right, there we go. Okay, so this is the inside of the car. So now remember, when Kylie was found, she was not in the driver's seat. She wasn't even in the front of the vehicle. she wasn't even in the back seat, like where you would put your children in a car seat. She was all the way in the back, like in the hatchback. So as you see here, there is very little room. Well, there's a lot of room in the hatchback area. See, so here we have a picture of the seats. So these are the back seats. This isn't the greatest picture. Okay, so here you get a little better view of how much room is between the top of the headrest and then the roof of the car. So it's very little room. Depending on how the headrest is adjusted, you might have almost no room. Between the top of the seat that is level all the way across without that extended headrest that kind of pops up, it's either 8 or 9 inches, I think, depending on the model. So we have very little room there. So, you know, when the divers and people that were close to law enforcement or in the first release of the Adventures with Purpose video talking about how they found Kylie Rodney, there were 2 minutes that were not included in the part that was ultimately released to the public the next day. Luckily, I have a copy of the original members only release. But they were saying, you know, in order for this to happen, for Kylie to be found the way that she was found, she would essentially have to, you know, be submerged in water, kind of float up out of her seat, and then float straight back vertically or horizontally. That would be depending on the orientation of the car. Now, remember, this is a car submerged in water that's going to be making all kinds of movements that would not be natural to a car on the road. So do we say vertically or horizontally? I'm not sure. But anyway, she would have had to make a straight line back to that hatchback of this vehicle. Very, very unlikely scenario, right? So there's the back. So this is from a different view. And there we go. There's that. So you can see in the back seat here, there's like tons of room, lots of room. So it would make sense that, you know, maybe if it's so hard to talk about, guys. If she were to, you know, float back there, there'd be plenty of room to settle there. So, you know, why all the way in the hatchback? You know, that is the reason that Nick, the diver that discovered the car and Kylie, immediately said upon coming up for air that he suspected foul play. So let's see. Oh, yeah, no problem, Blair. Hi, Mrs. O. How are you doing? Nice to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Does anyone want to come up on panel? I am a little hoarse this evening. If anyone would like to come up on panel, it would be a great evening. I think I'm going to do so. Oops. I want to keep sharing that, but that's okay. I'm not sure if my voice is going to hold out full force for too long. Let's see. Oh, gosh, I never sent this message. I said we'll be starting at 9:30. I have to pick my son up. I'm sorry about that, guys. Yeah, come on up, Yarn and Mittens. That would be great. One of our wonderful moderators, Yarn and Mittens. I love that name. Let's see. So Green Eye says, I definitely think she had to be put there or raced back there. I'm not sure we meant, but no way did she like float back there, right? She would have went out the window. Yeah, so that's another thing. One of the windows was all the way down, or I believe it was broken. And then another window was halfway down. So this is naturally going to impact the way that the car submerges once it does hit water, right? So if all of the windows are closed and you have, you know, big pockets of, you know, bubbles of air inside the car, more buoyant, that car is going to stay afloat for a longer period of time. If a window's down just a little bit, big trouble, right? You're not going to have that time. If it were a person, just in their car that accidentally drove into a body of water or had an accident and was thrust into a body of water, you're not going to have that time to think of, oh my gosh, you're immediately going to be in a panic state. What do I do? How do I get out of the situation? Well, one window was broken. Another window was halfway down, meaning the car would be submerged much more quickly. Is that an indication of foul play? Or was one of the windows just down? Or did something funny happen with the electric when the car hit water? Oh, good. Yarn and Mittens is coming up. That's great. Hi, Yarn and Mittens. How you doing, my darling? Oh,
okay. Can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you. How's it going?
I managed it this time, and I didn't mess it up.
Oh, that's right. That's your first time coming up. Welcome.
Yes,
I'm so happy you're here. Yeah.
Okay, what was the question that you were asking?
Well, there wasn't really a question, but I was just talking about the dynamics of course, a car, if a window is open or a window and a half, it's going to be submerged much more quickly. Now, someone in chat, Denise, and welcome, Denise, just said yarn and mittens. I agree. So what was it that you said that she was agreeing with?
Let me look at the chat here. My private chat in StreamYard isn't scrolling. Why not?
Oh,
Oh, here we go. All right.
Okay.
Who agreed?
Denise just said she agreed with something you said. I'm not sure what she agreed with. But what's your idea about what we've been discussing so far? Put it out there. What have you been thinking?
I think that Nick, the service guy, comes across very reputable. His girlfriend, who substantiated what he had to say, is a nurse, which speaks to her community involvement, her character. I think that after watching the video numerous times, I'm not picking up on disingenuous anything.
No, I'm not either.
And law enforcement wouldn't listen to him. He didn't have anywhere else to go. So for everyone who's saying, why did he go to Adventures with Purpose? Well, what did you want him to do? I think that he took it as far as he could, and he should be commended for that. I mean, he cares, obviously, right?
Oh, I agree. Absolutely. Now, do you mind if we just play that little bit of that interview with with Nick,
No, I think we should.
Yeah, let's do that. So maybe many of you have heard this, maybe some of you haven't, but anyhow, it's always worth, in my opinion, listening to again. Now, to Yarn and Mittens' point, and I was saying this during the last live stream, and I totally agree with you, Yarn and Mittens. I found him to be completely I thought that he was a reliable, truthful, honest witness, giving an honest account, accurate as far as he could remember at the time. And part of, I definitely saw that in him. So, and part of what I do in my profession is to analyze behavior, both verbal and nonverbal communication for a number of different things. So, a lot of people, you don't need to be trained to pick up on these cues. It's called intuition. It's called just, using your mind, being present, just observing what is in front of you, active listening, active watching, right? So that's what it's all about. But let's see what you guys think.
I mean, 894.
Yeah.
All right. And did you leave before her, or did she leave before you?
I left
I'm going to go
before.
back just a little bit here. Okay. Oh, actually quite a bit. Oh gosh, this is craziness. Yeah. Okay.
Our way to work the Kylie Rodney case just down the street in Truckee, California. And Nick, a longtime supporter, fan of ours, appreciate you for coming up to us. possibly has some information.
So they just ran into Nick when they were going to a Best Buy in Truckee. When they were in Truckee, you know, getting ready to begin the search for Kylie Rodney, just ran into this dude.
In regards to the Kylie Rodney case. So why don't you explain a little bit about what you may have run into?
So my name is Nick. I work at an emergency roadside assistance program. I got a call up in Truckee, Boca, for a battery call. So pretty much that means that the vehicle can't start. So I went en route up there, found the vehicle. At the time, I didn't realize that this was a situation until later on. But
let me stop you right there. Yeah. You said you went to Boca.
Yes, sir.
So over near Boca Lake.
Yes, sir.
So not Prosser Lake, Prosser Creek Lake.
It's right by Prosser Creek.
Yeah, so just north. So you went to Boca.
At first, when I went there, I realized after my test that everything was working great on the vehicle. At that point in time, I did notice that she was very hesitant and very skeptical on everything that was going on. She was asking me really weird questions, in the sense of, how do you put on your seatbelt correctly? And okay, and she asked me to show her on how to connect it to her actual belt. After that, she was stating on how she was there all night and she couldn't get her vehicle started due to the fact that now we both realized it was in neutral. She was wearing a sweatshirt, so it looked like she has been there for quite a while.
What color was the sweatshirt?
It was a gray sweatshirt.
Gray sweatshirt. Was it dark gray or light gray?
It was light gray.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, there was a guy there that was with her at time being. He was wearing a black San Francisco flat top ball cap facing forwards, brown hair that's sticking out just a little bit on the sides. It was kind of like they were both kind of at unease is what it looked like for me, as if either they had a crazy night or a crazy day or there's something going on I couldn't know, and at the time I didn't realize what was going on. But other than that, he was a thinner built guy is the best way I could put it, with a bro tank, and it was white bro tank. He had some freckles on his face, or maybe it was acne or whatnot, but it was on both sides of his face. He was also a little bit shorter than me, so I'm 6'3".
In hindsight, you're realizing all of this. When do you think that this took place? Was it before, during the day, after she disappeared?
To be honest with you, it's either right after she disappeared or right before she disappeared. But it was around noonish, 11 o'clock in the morning when I got out to her. During that period of time, after the period, I told her that I was going to leave and I hope you have a great day. Vehicle, I told her to keep it running for a couple of hours to obviously make sure everything's working good on the vehicle, charging system wise. At that point in time, then I left, and then a week later is when I saw at a coffee shop that she was gone.
You saw this on a flyer or something?
Yeah, but then everything spiraled out of control and I got in contact with the detective and tried to do everything I could. And then I saw you guys.
Now we know we probably have a tie to Boca, which was already on my radar. Do you know who placed the call to your roadside company?
So I can't get details. Calls don't go through me. They go through
dispatch. So you don't have. So when you were digitally dispatched, did you call them to say you were coming or you just showed up?
I did call and nothing went through. It went straight to voicemail. Yeah.
Do you know if she had a phone on her at the time?
She did state that her phone was dead. She used whatever guy, whoever this was, she used his phone. So that's how she did get in contact.
And what was, you mentioned she was asking funny questions and acting weird.
Granted, I at the time I didn't realize again. That
Yeah. I mean, I've been in the towing industry my whole life, so you see a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of weird stuff, and it's actually pretty normal.
Yeah.
So I can see why at the time it's just a normal call.
She kept on going over that, how do you secure your seatbelt firmly and do it correctly, and that's
when she was asking this. Was the guy that she was with right there too?
He was on the opposite side of the car.
So he could hear the conversation as well?
Every single time the guy would come over to us, she would go on to the other side. And it was just a back and forth, a tag team. Better to say, one person would come over, she wouldn't stay near him, and then it would go vice versa. Or if we were at the front of the car going about the battery and talking about the battery, he was always on one side, she was on another. They were never close to each other.
She was uncomfortable. Right. Yeah. Because, that screams awkwardness and someone being uncomfortable, and when in that scenario, if he was there with her, he should have been right next to her, if not if not dealing with you the entire time and not her. Did she seem high or intoxicated or?
I thought that maybe she was either hungover or just had a really rough day. She looked distressed.
Can you show me on the map where you saw her?
Absolutely.
All right, so we're here in Reno. Let's go down to Truckee. There's Prosser, there's Boca. Just drop a pin on the road exactly where you saw her.
Well, we're at the right place, right? Boca, you come in, you follow this road down.
I just want to pause for a minute. I see DC Primetime said, my gut says someone busted out of that car. And I think Yarn and Mittens, is this what you responded to, saying, oh, DC, oh my gosh, I had the same thought?
Yes, I did. I've had the very same thought.
Due to the broken window?
Because of the terminology that was used.
Okay.
Nick said at one point his terminology was the window was busted out. That doesn't leave a whole lot to think about. I mean, you're thinking about someone in the car kicking it out, pushing it out, using something to bust the window. He didn't say that, he didn't say how. He didn't say, he just didn't give enough information. Busted
That's
out.
Interesting.
In and of itself kind of tells you the story of what he's thinking. And the human brain, when you're in shock, you're going to say what you're thinking. You're not going to completely be able to articulate yourself in a way that no one can infer what you're thinking or feeling, because it's a traumatic experience. So when he said busted out, I think that he had a reason for using those specific words.
Okay, let me try a little experiment. I have a question. So if I was talking about a car and I said, the window was busted out, what do you think the story would be that would have led to the window being busted out?
I didn't know which way was busted out.
What would you think?
Where was the majority of the glass?
Well, it's in water.
Well, either
he's too logical.
Or
it busted out. How did it break? Oh, the window's busted out.
Well, like a shoulder to the.
Like an elbow, like you're busting.
Shoulder or escape device.
Yeah. So my son gives it his, just upon, he doesn't know anything about this case. Chris Watts, he knows all about that. So he's given it an elbow or a shoulder or a device to the window, busted out, just like you guys are saying. Yeah. Quick jab.
I'm thinking legs, because your legs are pretty powerful.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot more force with.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was just trying to get that vibe of like, what's your first impression if you say busted out, because you're probably right. He was just speaking on like emotion or experience. He wasn't filtering it. There was some emotional speak there, I believe. Yeah.
I'll share with you, as a mother who's had quite a few kids, as you know, Kelly.
Yes.
I had a Honda CRV, and I lived on the beach. Look out our front window, across the street, and you're walking down the sand into the ocean. And the purpose of buying the CRV was to be able to drive it, as the beach water is coming up and you have that real wet sand and then that tacky sort of wet sand. The CRV happened to drive really, really well on that sand. And it was set up in the back. The model that we had a table that actually came out, and you could put the leg in the sand and set it up, and it was great for the kids. But the point of all of this is that the kids would jump from the back seat into that hatchback area all the time to get to the table to put their food and snacks, so on and so have you. And it was very difficult for my 7-year-old at the time to do that. It was not easy. And she was a small frame. My kids were very, very thin.
Petite.
I mean,
Yeah.
one of them was malnourished looking, and it was very difficult. It
Yeah.
wasn't easy.
Yeah.
So even if you take away the issue of, and I'm not trying to be callous, but let's get away from thinking of bloating and things like that. Let's think about the initial, physical form that she had upon initially entering the water. Getting her limbs coordinated with her body to get through that section with those headrests. I'm telling you, it was few and far between. I've had one. I had one for many, many, many years. Those Honda Series are really good cars. They go forever. They drive until they're dead. And from personal experience, I don't see it. I think she was put back there.
Yeah. I mean, by all accounts, I've watched, many different videos. I've heard many different people talking about it. People that have had the car, people that went and checked out the car, people that were looking up the specs for the car, I mean, there's inches of space. It would be very improbable that you would end up I think we can all agree on this, from the driver's seat to the back hatch. And in that state of absolute panic, I think it would be almost impossible to navigate yourself back there. Yes, that might be the last air pocket, might be back where, the hatch is. But again, we have a busted out window and another window that's halfway down. That air pocket is going to be gone, from the most, the person that I believed most in a matter of maybe 20 seconds. Okay. That's not enough time to maneuver yourself, to think, to control the panic, to make a move, and to get there. I mean, it would have to be sheer happenstance or foul play, in my opinion. I don't know. Let's just keep listening to Dude here a little bit. I have, so many more things to say. Okay. Or so many more things to discuss.
I think that is the turnout right there. Yeah, this is it. And so right there, how she was coming out this way,
so and her front end was facing 894.
Yeah.
All right. And did you leave before her, or did she leave before you?
I left before her.
Was there anybody else around?
There was people far back here, yes, but not near her, no.
Did you notice anything in particular in her car at all?
I mean, besides perfume bottles and actually there was a perfume bottle that was in the center console, and that was all that I recalled, to be honest.
Did she have anything on her keys at all?
I don't remember.
Did you say that you guys have cameras that could possibly get some sort of facial recognition on?
Yeah, so we do indeed. We have cameras facing front and rear of our vehicles.
Now, it was just announced that the documents that I believe I was catching up on all of this after work yesterday and after work today. So again, please correct me if I'm wrong. You can definitely do that. Documents that I don't know if it would equal up to discovery, but the beginning documents that would be in a discovery are going to be released in early November. So I do believe that a lot of the information that is being discussed here, where we're like, man, we would love to see that camera footage, or where did that camera footage go? Who has seen that? Why are they not talking? Why is no information being given out? Because clearly somebody has watched that dash cam footage, the front and the rear of his vehicle. My gosh, that's like a gold mine. So apparently a lot of that information, it's been announced, is going to be released in the beginning of November. What specifically, I personally am not clear on that. If anyone has anything else to add to clarify the statement I just made, please go ahead and do so.
As well as we do have audio, so we could pick up audio from inside and outside of the truck. So we did have that, and I'm guaranteed, my vehicle is facing directly towards hers, and that's how I normally do it for my protection.
What's the window you're giving us of when this happened?
Either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I believe. Because the weekends I usually cover trucking, so.
Real quick, I don't want to keep breaking this up, but I didn't see this. I'm sorry, I was a little bit behind in chat. Sharon says that is not what I heard Nick say. So I'm sorry that I just saw that comment, Sharon. I can't find it now to pin in. Welcome everybody that just came in chat. But Sharon, if you wouldn't mind clarifying in chat what you're talking about, we can definitely discuss it. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I just saw that comment.
And that Friday, I also worked in Truckee. So yeah.
If you were to make a bet on what day it was, what would you say?
When I was looking back under my GPS, under my phone of where I've been, I was there both Saturday and Sunday, farther into Boca.
Everything you just heard unfolded right here where I'm standing. Talking about where Nick described him parking his service van. When he pulled up to give the battery service to Kylie, he parked his van right here, facing that direction. Her vehicle was parked right over here, facing 894.
Okay, now, very interestingly, I'm going to take a jump here. So we heard Nick's account. He said that he was called for a roadside service assistant. When he arrived on the scene, Kylie introduced herself in the version that was released to members only. Are you in here, Zena? He said, well, I have it, but I haven't. I have to go back and watch it or check out the transcript. He said something to the effect of she introduced herself as Kylie. For some reason, that was taken out. That was in the 2 minutes that was taken out of the version that was released the next day to everybody, not just members only, right? So that's interesting. So we need to look really closely at what was taken out and ask ourselves, why was that taken out? Fortunately, and I'm sure other people, downloaded the original members only video when it came out. So we actually can make that comparison. I don't want to do that just yet without the permission of Adventures with Purpose. When I feel that time is appropriate or when I have that explicit permission, we'll definitely do that. So it's very strange, obviously, that he says, he arrived on scene and she's asking, how do I fasten my seatbelt? How do I fasten my seatbelt into the buckle? How do I fasten my seatbelt so it's tight? These are obviously very strange questions. And if that is all how it went down, it kind of makes me really angry at this dude. But I guess hindsight is 2020. But I think women know this, especially if you're in a situation where somebody is saying something that just does not make sense like that, clearly so obvious. And there's another person there, especially if it's a woman who's in the company of a male, you better pay attention because that woman, especially, or person might very well be crying out for help. It's something that I know women are taught to do in various kinds of self-defense classes. So please, as kind of a public service announcement, everybody pay attention to that. And if you ever find yourself in a situation, that fits that description, pay attention and take action if you need to. Call the authorities, do whatever you need to do. It's better that you take action and overreact to protect a person or to save a life rather than to have a missed opportunity like this. That's how I look at it. No, that's how it is. That's how it's got to be. It's how it's got to be because things like this happen. So one thing that we know, guys, is that according to this guy who Yarn and Mittens and myself and a lot of other people that I've heard comment across YouTube and the guys from Adventures with Purpose find this person, Nick, to be extremely credible. By observation, he exhibits all of the signs of truthful recall in his narrative and exhibits none of the signs of observable signs of deception. So now we've got to take a look at this. So I'm going to bring this out for a moment and bring this in. So remember, we have our friend Jagger Westfall, who is Kylie Rodney's ex-boyfriend. They had been together, from what I can tell, for about a year or two. If anyone has a more accurate time frame there, please let me know. And they recently had broken up. By all accounts, she had broken up with him. She was going off to college, looking ahead to her future, was really excited about things. She was a senior. She was graduating. This was her last hurrah. By all accounts, when accounts are given, maybe it was like, how do we just say this in like layman's terms? He was more into her than she was him at that point. You know, it's young love. Teenagers get at this point in a relationship when, you know, you're going your different ways. So I think this is the one we want. Let's find out. Okay. So Jagger posts this. So the first post just says, you know, it's in, you know, memorializing Kylie. I'm glad I got to share this sunset with you at least once. And now you are my sun, always shining light in the places I need to go. Hashtag LLK, which is long live Kylie. It's an Instagram site that he made to remember Kylie. So the next post says, yeah, well, so this person, Flower Gangster, posted something that got him a little like riled up, got his feathers ruffled. So Nick Jagger is really quick to kind of get inflamed and clap back. And I think that's either getting him in a lot of trouble or it's giving him away, depending on how you look at it, or depending on whether he has any guilt or culpability in this crime or not, or in this, I should say, tragedy or not. We don't even know it's a crime yet. So he claps back at Flower Gangster and says, yeah, well, she never even called roadside assistance. And I live 4 hours away, so I'm not really worried. Let the people think what they think. Now, I know that this is not a newly released message, but like, what's up with that? So if her phone was out of battery, if her phone last showed activity at 12:30 that Friday evening, late 12:30, midnight and 30, going into Saturday morning, and this Nick guy showed up to the roadside assistance call at around 11 a.m. on Saturday morning, which would be around the time that she called roadside assistance, how in God's name would Nick know whether she did or did not call roadside assistance if he lives 4 hours away and he's not really worried? So let the people think what they think. Anyone? Anyone? You're in admittance. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, go ahead.
I'm with you. I was listening. I was back and forthing with them in chat, so I missed what you said. What was your question?
So this post by Jagger, where he says, yeah, well, she never even called roadside assistance and I live 4 hours away, so I'm not really worried. Let the people think what they think.
Did he say she didn't call roadside assistance or she didn't call AAA?
He says she did not. She says exactly. Yeah, well, she never even called roadside assistance.
Oh, here it is. It's up here. Mm-hmm. Interesting. How would he know that, right?
Right.
You know, I don't know why, but I just don't have a gut feeling that Jagger is involved in causing her harm. Mm-hmm. You know how young love is. There's nothing like it. You're young, mm-hmm. You're stupid, you're highly immature. Sure. You don't know anything. You have all those hormones coursing through you. You don't know if you're coming or you're going. He says some of the craziest stuff, but he's pretty screwed up. I mean, if you look at it, he's pretty young, and his mm-hmm. first girlfriend, more than likely, has just been found dead. Mm-hmm. He's acting erratically and almost as if he's bipolar. I mean, good grief. But at the same time, look what he's going through. I just don't have that. When I watch him, when I look at him, I don't know. I'm not getting those vibes like I get from. And Sammy's another one, another stuck-up teen who thinks that her pardon my French, but her
Mhm.
crap doesn't stink. She's another
Totally.
one. Is she arrogant? Is
Mhm.
she, in the upper echelon of these
Mhm.
teen kids, the cheerleader type who thinks that she knows
Her
everything?
mother's an attorney.
Correct. Her father's a PI, I think.
Mhm.
Is it this, or is it that her character is highly questionable? It's very hard to tell. And
Now
because the kids are so young, I hate to just,
right.
run right to their
Sure.
murders.
They might just be being kids. That's right. And when we were discussing this in the last live stream, I chalked a lot of their behavior up to exactly that. I work with teens day in, day out, every day. I swim in teens. My son's a teen, his friends are teens. I work with teens. They're everywhere. I was once a teen. I remember it well. So, especially with Sammy's behavior, I definitely chalked it up to her. I never found her to be particularly suspicious. She, to me, fits a very specific personality type that I discussed in the last live stream. I won't go into all the details again, but that's just how I ended up seeing her. Now, with Jagger, it's interesting. Forget what my opinion is. So when I played that video that many of you have seen many times, a lot of people said, "Oh, I've seen this too many times." I think Green Eyes, did you say that? Which I totally get. I've seen it too many times too. It's interesting to me, though, to see what people's reactions are to that video where, Jagger, sets it up. He starts video recording, and then he and Kylie are, dancing or whatever it is they're doing. They're close, they're touching each other. There's, kind of standing there and hugging and whatever it is they're doing. I just can't think of a good word for it other than dancing, and I don't know. And now you, Yarn and Mitten, said, "Oh, teen love." I pinned a couple of the comments and things like that. "Oh, it's kind of so sweet, teen love," just to paraphrase. And then other people in chat, and this is completely reflective of what I've seen in comments across the board, all across YouTube and elsewhere. Other people are like, "Oh my God, so disgusting. He's controlling her. No means no. When she said no, he kept pushing." I wasn't really seeing all of that.
Well, hang on a second. Did he actually dump her in the water? No, he didn't. I'm going to tell you, and I can promise you this, that I have been in that exact situation. I used to play volleyball in Santa Cruz in California. Anybody from Santa Cruz from California? Right at the edge of the beach. And I had one of the guys come pick me up and run me all the way into the ocean. And he did dump me. I did get dumped, but he didn't dump her. He had some respect for her screams of no. I think he was teasing her. And there's a part there where they're quote unquote dancing together. And if you look at him, his head is towards her right shoulder, and it's pretty obvious they're kissing each other. So I get the feeling that they're not ex so much as on again, off again. She obviously still has some kind of feelings for him, but she's moving on. She's going to college.
Well, what is the timestamp on? What is the date of that video?
It's the video you were playing, actually.
Right, but what is the date? When was it recorded?
I don't know. I didn't look at that.
Yeah, because I mean, if it was a year ago, it wouldn't really indicate anything about on again, off again, right? Maybe it was at the beginning of their relationship. If it was a week ago, and we know that they had broken up a couple months ago, then that would tell us on again, off again.
In general, though, if you listen to not just that video, you get the vibes that they were still connected on some level.
Oh yeah, definitely they were.
He texts her and she responds to him, and people were saying, "Oh, she's trying to blow him off. I do that all the time. I say, oh, I'm sorry you're going through that, just to get rid of him." And he says, "No, this is how she speaks in general. This is how she interacts with me. And she's taking the time from a party to stop and listen. So obviously she cares on some level."
Yeah. I mean, I think by all accounts, people said that they did still have like that connection, that she just wasn't like, "Screw you, dude. I never want to speak to you again." That there was definitely still that young love connection, that, maybe there was, still a flame between them, But
I'm more interested in Nick, the one that they arrested. I'd love to hear more about.
Okay, let's get to that. So next, I just want to read Pride or Honesty's comment. He says, AWP, Adventures with Purpose, Doug, and hi, Pride or Honesty. I'm so happy you're here. I've gathered from the live streams that you showed up at recently, or just over the Watts case, and I get it. Doug hinted that law enforcement had a lot to do with the video that they released last week as members only and then to everybody. So AWP would have been told all about roadside guys' credibility by the time they made the video, which is a really good point, Pride or Honesty. So, what he's saying is because we know that law enforcement not collaborated on the video, but I don't know if AWP had their approval or they just, they were part of the video that was going out. They were in the know. That AWP wouldn't have just stuck the middle finger up to law enforcement. They just don't do that. They've been very accommodating and allowing law enforcement to do their thing, I think in a really respectable way that's not impeding on law enforcement's progress. That's just my opinion from what I've observed. So yeah, that's a really good point, Pride or Honesty, as always, that if law enforcement had anything to do with this video, even an approval of parts of this video, and they included this whole large section of them talking / interviewing Nick, the guy that showed up for the roadside service, then law enforcement pretty much vetted them. So we can count on that. So that is really actually a very critical point to say that, his credibility is all but verified. So let's see. Just let me I had a couple more comments here. Then we're going to get right to what you're talking about. So hi, Christine McGuire. How are you? Christine says, Jared from AWP confirmed that it was Jagger with her, but he couldn't say it because he didn't want to get sure. But he said speculation. I know I jumble words sometimes when I comment, or maybe I'm not reading right. Speculation are correct with black San Francisco ball cap, brown hair sticking out of the sides. Well, that is what Nick said. So Christina says that was on Zav Girl. So, I did watch Zav Girl and and maybe I missed something, but what I got from Zav Girl was a lot. But regarding, the accuracy and the accuracy of what this guy Nick said, what I got from it was that, yes, he was credible. What he reported regarding the car and the state of the car and everything that he found when he arrived on the scene was accurate. I didn't really pick up that he was confirming yes, it was Nick. Now, Nick, geez, all these same names. The guy that showed up to help Kylie with her car did say dude was wearing what was it? Flat top, black San Francisco ball cap with brown hair sticking out the sides. And my gosh, and really described our friend Jagger, except he said that he either had acne or freckles all over both sides of his face, which Jagger does not have. So I don't know what to think of that. I just don't know what to make of it.
I agree with you. I don't think it sounds like him. He also says a little bit of hair.
Exactly.
Jagger doesn't have a little bit of hair. You could put that in a ponytail.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So let's see here. Let me just check. My opinion, Kate was seeing Jagger. So this is something. Okay. So, all right. Honey Bun says, in my opinion, Kate was seeing Jagger secretly and Kylie found out and something wild happened from there. So now we are getting into, we're getting into maybe a theory that might be implying that her very own group of friends or these teens had something to do with what happened. So I was talking with the channel friend Zena just before this live stream. Zena, by the way, has her own channel now. She's been doing some Kylie Rodni material. You should definitely go check it out. I'm going to have to grab the link so I can pop it in chat for you. But she had some really great ideas. Just let me find that one little bit of that interview with both Nick and Kate Kuno. And then we're going to move on to what Yarn and Mittens was just talking about, which is was it the Nick or Nate who just got arrested? Oh my gosh. We have 2 Nates and 2 Nicks. Why all of these same namers? Do you know Yarn and Mittens? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Am I supposed to mute it every time I'm not talking?
Well, if like I'm not getting like any bad audio feedback from you, so no, you don't have to. I'll let you know if I am, and then if you could please, but you're good right now.
I thought it was Nick, but I could be wrong.
Zena, are you here? You knew what that was. I wrote it down, but it's in the other room. Okay, let's just 1 second. Kuno. Let me just pop this up real quick. Okay, here it is. Yoo-hoo. Moving along. Come on. Come on. Oh, yeah, okay. Hold on, I'm talking to myself a little bit here. Do you see any comments in chat or anything, Yarn and Mittens, that you'd like to bring to light?
I do earlier. I would love to know more about why someone would connect their seatbelt to their pants. Is this something people do and I've never heard of it before?
What? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, listen. When the car service guy found Kylie, supposedly, he said that she was acting bizarrely and asking questions repeatedly, how to buckle in her seatbelt. And at one point he said she was asking how to connect her seatbelt to her actual pants.
Right. That was like the call for help questions.
Right, but it's such an outlandish.
Exactly.
So my question is, has anybody else heard of this? Is this a thing? Is there?
No. Okay. No, I just thought that was like the ridiculous. This is how I took it. That's how ridiculous her questions got, because I believe if everything went down the way he's saying, she was crying out for help. I mean,
then I feel like smacking him.
Exactly. That's what
exactly.
Exactly. That's what I was saying, that, at least let this be a lesson to everyone watching, especially I think women would be more apt to do this, that this is a technique that is taught in self-defense and other courses. If you are in the company of somebody who is a danger to you and you are scared and you are able to be blessed enough to interact with another person, ask how you connect your seatbelt to your pants, your underwear, your bra, use it as a tampon, for God's sake. Whatever you can say that's going to be so ridiculous that it's going to alert that person to the fact that you need help.
Correct.
But not agitate the possible aggressor.
I was just wondering if there was some strange thing I'd never heard of before.
No. Nope, she was just crying. I mean, if it's what he says it was, she was crying out for help. And yes, that was my first reaction to him, was livid. All right, let's watch this little interview with with Jagger and Kate Kuno here.
"10:30, she responded to what I was.
Jeez, what the heck?
Just like, okay, be safe. Don't do anything stupid. 10:30, she responded to what I was saying and just said, "Oh, I'm sorry that you're going through that." And that was the last time I heard from her.
The day of the party, I hung out with her. We made creme brulee. She was, everything was normal. I don't think she ran later. I would have noticed if something was slightly off.
I definitely feel like that in this current situation that she's safe. I don't know where she is. We don't have anything to go off of at this point, but I fully believe that she's alive and well, and I fully believe that the two of us, three of us, or other people are going to bring her home safe.
Okay, so interesting here, something that I just picked up on. So if we were to indulge the theory that some of the teens were somehow involved, I just found it interesting that Jagger here actually like nails down a number.
Military mission in Afghanistan.
Oh God, a number of teens that might speculatively be bringing her home. So let me just play that one little part again. Later, Biden, we don't have time for you right now. We have true crime.
We don't have time for him ever.
So let's see here. Oh, goodness graciousness. There. Let me take that out of the stream. Let's do this one more time. I just want you guys to hear that now that I made a point of it, especially. Pull that in the stream.
Sharon, neither do I.
All right. All right, come on. Are you kidding? I hate you right now, Judge Janine. Go away. Castles, USA. Oh.
And so I was just like, okay, be safe. Like, do anything stupid. 10:30, she responded to what I was saying and just said, going through that, and that was the last time I heard from her.
The day of the party, I hung out with her. We made creme brulee. She was, I mean, everything was normal. I don't think she ran away. I mean, I would have noticed if something was slightly off.
I definitely feel like that in this current situation that
Now
she's
listen
safe.
here.
I don't know where she is. We don't have anything to go off of at this point, but I fully believe that she's alive and well, and I fully believe that the two of us, three of us, or other people are going to bring her home.
The two of us, three of us, or other people. What I don't know. That just struck me. I don't know. Might be nothing, but I don't know. So let's see. Honey Bun says, and this is something that I've heard a lot of people or some people speculating about. In my opinion, Kate was seeing Jagger secretly and Kylie found out and something wild happened from there. Possible. Now, Corey reiterates or asks, and the car was in neutral when pulled out of the water. Apparently it was. Now, Nick, the guy that responded to Kylie in the car, said that the car was in neutral. That was a problem. Not that it needed a new battery, but her car was stuck in neutral, which again, I think is a really weird mistake to make. I think once again, in my opinion, if his story is true, she was feigning car trouble for some reason, possibly to call roadside assistance to get somebody else out there to help her, and then was asking how to use a seatbelt as a whatever, how to buckle it to your pants, was just an absurd question. And if that is the case, dumbass didn't pick up on it, which is just a horrifying thought to me. Oh,
Well, the other aspect of Mr. Dumbass, he's got a new nickname.
But he also
They
seems
were
like an upstanding
trading-
guy, but yeah.
Well, I think that he's honest. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that he's an honest person. I'm just not so sure about his emotional IQ because he's watching two people play musical stances.
Exactly.
They're moving from one side of the car to the other, and he is understanding that it's
Exactly.
because they don't want to be standing together. He's reading everything they're giving off, and he's not putting two and two together. I
Exactly.
mean, it's as if he were burst. You know the saying, I fell off a tomato truck?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he had just fallen off the tomato truck. He's getting it, but he's doing nothing about
Exactly.
it. But there's a couple of things that bother me. If playing devil's advocate a bit, let's say that he is standing at one point he mentions that he's in front of the car where the battery would be and under the hood, and he's got one on each side of him. So he's got the hood up why is she not then taking advantage of lip
Right.
syncing help me? If
Exactly.
she's
Yeah.
going to such, she's working so hard with the seatbelt. I mean, the guy that she's with has to be seeing that she's stretching this as far as she can. She's putting herself in
Right.
danger just doing that. Why aren't we going just a little further with
Well,
help
so
me?
then I went down that line of thinking, and so the conclusions I came to were maybe exactly what you're saying, right? And so maybe that didn't even happen. The other things I was thinking of was, well, his emotional IQ is clearly so low. Maybe he didn't pick up something that obvious, because he was not picking up a lot of obvious hints she was dropping down right in the palm of his hand if things went down as he said. Now, the other thing that I was thinking when I went down that line of thought there was maybe part of the dancing around the car was, the male trying to not allow her to be in a place that was private enough between her and the tow truck guy where she was able to mouth something like help me or pass him a note or pinch him or something like that. So I mean, I think we could go down that road with a million what ifs, and because we only have his description of the scenario, probably not come up with anything concrete. But Corey asks, and the car was in neutral when pulled out of the water. So, the tow truck guy, Nick, basically, indicates this, but it was Jared, the founder of Adventures with Purpose, in his drop by on Zavgirl, where he just outwardly stated this. Yes, well, he said the car was in neutral. They know that because the wheels were spinning when they, pulled the car out of the water. Now I see some other people here in chat making possible like counterpoints to that. And I don't know. I've heard a couple people make counterpoints, and I don't know all that much about cars, but I personally had felt pretty secure in the fact that the car had to be in neutral. I mean, let's just entertain this one. Flipbox, and by the way, welcome, says, for example, if you're traveling down the road doing 60 and your engine cut off, your wheels don't come to a complete stop. You continue to roll and drive, but in this scenario, the car was submerged underwater and was stationary, not going down the road at 60, so
Correct.
what then would make the wheels spin other than it being in neutral? We haven't heard that they had found any major. Well, in fact, Nick said when he did check out the car, it was in, quote, perfect condition. So, I don't know. Okay, so now let's get to, here we go. All right, this one. Let's just bring the bombshell out. So, let's see. William Brandon Giles, welcome. So this comment says, Nate was arrested for selling drugs to a 15-year-old. Okay. So apparently what the sleuths that have been looking deep into, or maybe not so deep into, I wasn't one of those sleuths that was looking, I looked into the social media accounts, but not as deeply as these people did, found that apparently Kylie was in fact dating someone else whose name was Nate. I think that Zena may have sent me a screenshot. I mean, I'm not going to necessarily give out all the information that she's sending me because some of it isn't meant to be that way, but I can't even find my phone. But someone named Nate with some last initial, which I don't know right now, but I'm going to find my phone here. And so William Brandon Giles, you're saying that it was this same Nate that she was dating that was arrested for selling drugs and having sex with a 15-year-old? Is that the same Nate? Do you have any understanding of that, Yarn and Mittens?
I thought it was debunked. I thought that had already been handled, that she was not dating the Nate that was arrested.
So what did you hear about that? Or anyone else that would like to chime in, please. So Anaphylaxis. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I didn't hear specifics as to who she was dating. I heard specifics to the Nate that was arrested, did not have a connection to Kylie.
Okay. So what it may have been, so this is where I'm a little confused. So this is where I need all of your help. Was it the case that there were actually two Nates? I don't think you're with us anymore, Zena, but I think she had this nailed down. There was a Nate with a different last name, obviously, last name initial, that she was dating. And then there was also a Nate who was arrested for selling drugs to and having sex with a 15-year-old. Gross. Let's see if anyone has the answers here. So Downtown Wonder asks a good question. I'm jumping around here a little bit. This is an important one. Wouldn't there be paperwork connected with the service? She could have written SOS. Really great point. So hopefully all of this, not all of it, silly me, we know better than that. Hopefully some of it and some of the important stuff will come out when those certain documents are released. I think the date that I heard was released from authorities was November 2nd of this year. Yeah, that's a really good point. Let's see. Let me get down to current times. So William Brandon Giles says, not confirmed yet. Okay, now someone else says, no, why can't I pronounce? I'm so sorry I can't pronounce your name, but thank you and welcome. Says, wrong Nate. That's been debunked. So are there two Nates at play in this case also? Then Ho Chi Winter says, okay, not Nate either. Not confirmed yet. Well, give me some things that are confirmed. Because I don't know it. I don't know that what has been confirmed of this, but Ho Chi Winter, who's generally a reliable source, says Nate was in court with 1,000 fentanyl pills. Not sure if it's the same Nate though. Oh my gosh. Here we go down the rabbit hole.
This reminds me of the Chris Watts with the Nick, the Nicole, and too many of them.
Yep, that's right. So, okay, very good. So DC's telling me 3 Nates. That's freaking fucking fabulous. We need 3 Nates here. That's good. I love that. Come on now. I can't. They can't ask this much of us. I think this is done on purpose. So William Brandon Giles, who seems to know what they're talking about, I think, or you've got me fooled, one or the other, says one of the Nates were near the area during the time of the party and before Kylie was missing. So this is what I have heard about that. Now, none of this has been independently verified by myself. If we were talking about the Chris Watts case or a number of other cases I've touched upon, before putting this information like this out there, I would have done everything I could possibly do, given, what we have access to confirm or not. And then I would tell you the outcome. None of that has happened here. Okay. Because it's so new, it's so up in the air, and there's 3 fucking Nates. Terrific. So, what I understand is a possibility is that Kylie was in fact dating one of the dozen of Nates. And he was at that party, and I'm not sure how I had heard a story where that somehow played into the girl fight erupting that evening. But one thing I do believe has been all but confirmed is that the girl fight that night at the Prosser campsite where they're all partying, 200 to 300 teens, woohoo, and apparently from all over the place. Well, teens and adults, actually, as we heard from some of the people that were there, that Sammy said, I've been to like a million parties. I'm a party girl. I even got scared. There was adults and people from this place and that place and all over the place. That girl fight that happened that night that Doug from AWP talks about in the video that was released last week was between Kylie and Sammy. And that is really what broke up the fight. What happened after that, obviously nobody really knows, but it does seem to set the stage for something, sketchy, if not nefarious, to happen. I don't know, man. Hi, John McSmith. Hi, K-Dub. How are you? And thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. K-Dub71. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thanks for supporting the channel.
Kelly, going back to Kylie having any kind of issue with Jagger dating someone else, she reminds me of more of a classy personality. I just don't see her getting into a scuff on that level that would end up with anybody deceased. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I think I can see that about her persona, but crazy things happen to people. I mean, I also didn't see like picture perfect dad and family Chris Watts, annihilating his family and disposing of his 2 little girls with or without the help of someone else in crude oil tanks. You know what I mean?
I'm okay, but again, one of the things that I love about this room is that we all can agree to disagree. I do not for 2 seconds believe that man had the balls to put those babies to sleep forever or to put them in those tanks. I think that someone else did that. I think that he had his hands involved with his wife, but not with the babies. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. But, I mean, I guess the point is people get in all kinds of crazy situations we wouldn't expect. So, bring into account that they're teenagers, bring into account that there may have been alcohol and drugs involved, bring into account that they may not have been experienced in ingesting alcohol and drugs, bring into account that there's 200 to 300 people, bring into account that those 200 to 300 people are definitely under the influence of alcohol and drugs. Bring into account that they're from all over the region. Bring into account that they are young teens to middle-aged adults. Bring into account that there's no responsible adults there to speak of. Bring into account that it's the senior last hurrah, and there's a lot of expectations for that night. Bring into account that, Kylie had been in a relationship and now she's free as a bird. And I just think there's a whole lot of variables that could have set the stage for something abnormal and atypical to occur.
I also wanted to speak to one more thing. I don't know if you want to do this now or later. You tell me what you want and I'll follow you. I used to live in California for 12 years, and I want to tell you that area where she is from, the main roads are like any other road. They're smooth, great traction. You can run with speed and not be concerned. As soon as you get off onto those side roads, the potholes, the rocks, the roads are narrow. I'm telling you, it's like riding a roller coaster. You need 2 hands on the wheel in order to control the car. And I don't care if you're drunk or not, you're going to know in some way, to some degree, you're going to know you're off the mainstay. It doesn't look necessarily like it would be that way, but I'm telling you from living there and from firsthand experience, it's not the way people are necessarily thinking. You're on the main road, you get off on these side roads and you're just driving and you have no clue, and then suddenly you're in the water. You have more than a clue. You're bouncing all over the seats. The car is trying to pull you to the left and to the right because of the massive ruts in the road. There's twigs in the road, there's branches, there's bushes. Am I making any sense?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think this is kind of in the area where I live. I can definitely imagine that situation happening. So you're thinking that she could have just possibly driven into the lake.
I don't. I think that something nefarious went on, but I'm speaking more to those who feel that she definitely had an accident, went off the main roads, took the wrong road, took it all the way down, and ended up in the water. And to those people, I'm saying it is not that simple. Even when you're intoxicated, you're going to notice the difference between, riding in a jalopy with your head hitting the top of the car, and you need 2 hands to hold the wheel to keep yourself on the road. You're going to notice the difference between that and the main road. They're difficult to navigate, and they're much more narrow. And what do you know about those roads? Why are they like that? Because of where they're taking you. Now, granted, if she were on drugs, I don't know. I haven't done drugs in my life unless they were given to me by a doctor, so I have no clue. But drinking, certainly, I've had plenty to drink in my life. And, unless you're comatose, there are certain things you're going to recognize. And I just don't believe that she would have been that clueless. She was from that area, and just the roads alone, they're dangerous. They're too rough. Not to mention, they'll wreck your car. I mean, if you don't,
I think you're thinking about all these things that I don't think she was like really thinking. I don't know. I just don't think she was in like that frame of mind to even. I don't know. Maybe she was. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
so I have a question. I'll put the test to you. Let's say that you're driving on a road that has been cleaned up, that's prepared for a lot of traffic, and you make a mistake and you take an off-road that's going to take you down to Prosser Reservoir, okay? You're on a narrow lane full of ruts, full of rocks. You have to go slow to navigate. You cannot go fast. One of the things I hear from people that are typing in is that she's speeding along the road. You cannot speed or you're going to wreck your car. You can't do it. The roads are in really bad shape. They're in disrepair. They're not paved. So regardless of how drunk one is, you're in a situation that's perilous when you're sober. You're going to recognize that you're going to have to slow down or do something different. She had just as much of a chance of running off the road from hitting a rock as she would have long before she hit the lake. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Possibly, yeah. And Jacob says, hi and welcome. Jacob says, I think she was finding a spot to park and passed out. And then, after she passes out, then the question would be, who knows what happened there. I want to bring up DC Primetime because she would like to share with us what she thinks. And I always like to hear from DC. So let's bring this perspective into perspective. How are you doing, DC Primetime? And welcome. I love your
Kelly.
picture.
Hi.
Hi,
I'm
sweetie.
good. Thank you. Sorry, my dog is panting very
I
loudly
can hear him. So
he knows
cute.
we're live. That's Moss.
That's awesome.
First of all, I'd like to say I feel like a freak because I'm like the only person in these chats that has ever been to one of those parties where they have friendly fights with boxing gloves.
Oh.
Is that not a thing?
Yeah, that's a DC Primetime thing.
I'm like, wow, okay.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I'm almost 40 years old, and this was like 20, 25 years ago. Okay, I thought it was a thing. I don't know. But
know, girl.
But yeah, it's a great way to make enemies afterwards if you box one of your friends.
Oh yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah.
But my opinion, now you've got an insight into how crazy my teenage years were.
With those friendly fights.
Yeah. Just letting it all out here.
That's right.
I believe that that was Kylie that Nick, the roadside assistance guy, saw the next day. That's the first thing I thought. I have found him incredibly just truthful and straightforward. And if he didn't know the answer, he didn't try to pin it down.
Right.
So I appreciated that from him. I think it was Kylie he saw. And I think it was somebody with her in a black cap, but I don't think it was Jagger.
Yeah, I think I'm right with you there. Yep.
I don't think it was Jagger. I did send you an email earlier, Kelly, so check that out when you get a chance.
I know definitely will.
I know you can't check it out during the live, but
I can't.
Afterwards, please check it out. I think it was somebody she knew and trusted.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was kind of an accident, foul play, but somehow an accident. I believe that they went into the water together, and I believe he got out and she didn't. And that's what I believe.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
believe that, she was I might be totally wrong, okay? But I don't believe that she was already passed away when she went into the water. And we'll find out very soon, I'm sure. But I believe that she probably tried to get out and was really disoriented because of hallucinogenic substances. I think that the first
So
thing I
that
thought
would,
of,
how did she end up in the back of the car then would be my question.
she was going to the light. I mean, she was trying to find her way
Yeah.
out and she just didn't have time. That's my opinion.
Possible.
I may be
Possible.
wrong. I know everybody else wants to make it out to, something more nefarious, but I think she was with somebody she trusted. And I believe that
Then what's up with all of the asking how to fasten your seatbelt in 50 different ways? You know what I mean?
well, when you're on hallucinogenic substances, you can't work that stuff out. I'm sorry, but you can't. I don't know if anybody here in the chat knows. I can't read the chat, but I have taken some hallucinogenic substances in my youth one time.
As
and
have I more than one time.
it was one time, and it was fun until it wasn't because it lasted forever.
Yes, and you
And
can't make it
yeah,
stop.
you can't make it stop unless you drink milk. I figured that out after. Just word to the wise. But I did notice that it lasted like 10, 12, I don't even know how many hours, but it was crazy. And I couldn't figure out how to drive a car. I wouldn't even try. Like, it was just insane, like how completely fragmented or like disjointed from reality I was. So I'm thinking, I mean, these kids, I saw pictures of the party with the glow sticks and everything, and that's the first thing I thought of, like some kind of hallucinogens. I don't know. I don't want to speculate as to what they were, but just my opinion, they were on hallucinogens. She was with somebody that she trusted. She went back the next day, and
so regarding that she was with someone she trusted, I mean, the fact that they didn't want to stand next to one another, and he said that they kept swapping sides of the car, and it was obvious to him that they did not want to be near one another. To me, that doesn't define trust. And also, the service guy stated that he felt that she may have been hungover. If he felt she was in any state of DUI, why he would walk away without reporting it. The whole thing sounds like
I agree with you there.
Conversation
I mean,
closure, right?
I don't believe that he should have left her there with him. I mean, if he had thought something, but what's he going to say? Is he going to call the cops and be like, "Oh, she's acting weird"? He's
Right.
acting weird. They're like, there's no crime committed there, so he
But
can't
then
just call the police.
also
I don't
his
agree.
characterization of them running around the car and stuff.
Correct.
But if that's true, we also have to remember that he's the guy that also describes 5 different ways that Kylie asked how to put on her seatbelt, including buckling it to her pants. And he didn't pick up on that. So I don't feel certain that I'm going to trust his. I don't believe he's lying. I think he's telling the truth as he sees it. I don't trust his characterization of events or reality, if that's the case.
Something strange was going on, and he had a failure to report
But
whatever
what's he
it
going to
was that he saw.
report?
Well, I'll tell you, if I am out doing some sort of service call, and I think that I've got 2 teenagers that are potentially hungover, there's a problem there. I would report it.
But that's you. See, that's what I think. Okay, so I think
Well,
that
she was asking me. She was asking me directly, and my answer to her is that I would report it. And I do think that there's an onus on someone. I mean, what is his vocation? What are his...
Wait. I'm just gonna stop. So I'm not just saying like it's you to like point fingers at you, but they're just an overall observation. So like, you know, and I'm sure that I do this as well. So I'm just asking that we all take a step back and just consider this. So when DC is talking about how she sees things, she's talking about oh, you know, you're so cute. I love you, DC. In high school, we had fun fights with boxing gloves. And I did hallucinogenics once, and this was my experience with it. And I'm like, I've done hallucinogenics. I don't know. I can't count the number of times. And, you know, I haven't even shared my experience because I'm not going to do that on my YouTube channel. So, and then, you know, Yarn and Mittens, you know, is coming from, you know, whatever perspective, you know, that you have where, you know, and I'm just using this for an example. Like, this is what I was trying to pull out in the beginning when I showed that video of Jagger and Kylie dancing or whatever that he had recorded. The almost polarizing, here we go with Watts terms again, opinions that people had of what they saw in that video. So Yarn and Mittens, you know, says, oh, it's teenage love, you know, it's, you know, and from my perspective, and I think you're right, I would hopefully do the same. It's a good thing to do. If I saw two teenagers in that state, I would report him. So do you see what I'm saying? How we're all coming from our own life experience perspectives, but what we do know about this Nick guy is based on the decisions that he made and the observations that he made and the actions that he did or did not take. He does not think, act, or respond like any of us. So I just want to like kind of recognize that, you know?
Yeah, he probably thought like something was up. They were hungover, like they'd been out partying, and he probably like identified with them in some way. Like, oh my gosh, I've been out partying before. Like, well, I'm going to give these kids a break. And he's not law enforcement. And they weren't like, he didn't say he smelled alcohol on their breath or anything to kind of point the finger in that direction. But I do believe that he was, you know, picking up on something, but didn't have probably the wherewithal that like somebody that's older, like you or me or Kelly, Yarn and Mittens, might. And I'm not sure if you have children, but once you have children, you kind of get into a different perspective when you see young
kids.
I didn't want to assume, but when you have kids, yeah, you become a parent and like your perspective changes. And I'm not saying that, I don't know if this Nick roadside assistance guy has kids or not.
I'm sure he doesn't.
But I'm sure they're not teenagers, right?
Yeah. Well, he's not even married. He has a girlfriend.
Yeah. So
marriage not a prerequisite to procreate. I'm proof
no,
of that.
That's true.
But if he were 20 years older, Nick, maybe he would have done something different.
Now let's just take a listen, because several people have, you know, quoted Jared, the founder of AWP, which really is a very correct thing to do since he probably does have all of the information, the sum of information, and all the information that you can bring together to synthesize to make the most logical and supported conclusions. So let's listen to this soundbite from Nick when he was on Zavgirl the other night, who I will link in the description. Bless your heart, Zavgirl. We love you here. I went about a minute back. He's going to talk about how he believes you can make a positive identification. We're going to listen to his words because I don't know if I got the words just right of the person that was with Kylie. Let's listen.
I'll say this. I would not have put that in our title if we thought it was nothing more than an accident. It's open for...
All right, we got to go back a little more.
You know, in any additional information that I would provide. So, you know, I have to be careful in what it is that we do say and what we put out there for certain reasons. So we put out what we can at this moment in time. And like I said, we will put out a lot more later on if it goes down in that direction that law enforcement take it.
So from everything that you've seen in your experience, if you had to guess, I mean, would you guess that there is foul play involved in this one? You had to guess.
I'm just going, I'll say this. I would not have put that in our title if we thought it was nothing more than an accident. It's open for, you know, interpretation, speculation at this point. There's an entire other theory that it would blow your mind if I even told you, based upon additional. Even just going with let's see, without giving away too much, and without me saying
Look at
anything
Zav.
really. If you think about the two people that are moving around the vehicle, there could be more to that story.
He's
was
talking
Nick
without
the-
talking because he knows he.
Oh my God.
It's
It's something that even in my conversation, if I have a private conversation with Ryan later on, will be a private conversation. I'm not even going to tell you, Ryan. I mean, because
I don't
everybody needs to
blame
come
you.
to their own conclusion at this point as to potential. But none of us want to be in a situation where it's defamation.
Exactly.
If it's not true.
Right.
We hope that it's not. But if it
my
is,
gosh.
then justice will be served. Appropriately.
Was Nick able to? Sorry, I just have one more question. Was Nick able to look at a picture of Kylie and say, "This is the girl that I saw," or was it more based off of the vehicle matched the description of her vehicle?
Right now, I'm still gathering some information based upon what I just hinted to you right now.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm gathering more information on that one. As far as who the male may be, I'm going to say that it was a positive match.
Yeah, got
without
it.
saying.
Wow. Oh my God.
You say male?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah, because remember he said that the girl was with a male with the SF black cap on.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Oh my gosh. So how we're praying for Nick Jared too, because we know that was his first, or we're assuming that's his first body. How's he holding up?
It was he's actually holding up pretty good. We debriefed again yesterday and had another conversation about it. And your first one, is always the hard. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say that. Your first one is not always the hardest. Each and every one of them, even though we didn't know Kylie, we've connected with the story. We're fathers ourselves, we're brothers, we're uncles, we're dads, we're grandpas, and so we have that emotional connection. And it used to really upset me when people would troll me and like, oh, you're just a showman and you're just the tears are not real. It's like, no, everything that we've ever done is real, raw,
100% real.
Yeah.
It's
And so what? And so,
all right.
And so
there's that.
Kelly, did
Yeah.
you see what Erin on the side of caution had to say? She says that when Nick goes around the vehicle, you can see the seatbelt sticking out from the trunk door. Can we take a look at that again? I've never seen that.
Yeah, definitely. So underwater, Aaron?
The seatbelt was sticking out from the trunk
Thanks,
door, like on the
That's what
outside.
Erin on the side of caution is sharing that.
Yeah, and welcome, Aaron, and welcome all
Hi,
daughter
Erin.
and anyone else who just came in. It's nice to see you guys. Yeah, just if you guys can just talk for a moment or read some things from chat here. It's just going to take me a second to pull that up.
So Yarn, I don't have the chat up because I'm on my phone and my kids have commandeered my laptop.
Sure.
Well, I have something interesting. Well, okay. Well, I'm looking for this. So earlier I was reading that Jay for Justice was saying she's not going to be doing live streams for a while because her Facebook, YouTube, and everyone in her families was hacked and like all of these bad things were happening. I heard that also happened to Zav Girl. I heard that also happened to Ryan Upchurch and some other people who have been focusing on this case. So I did put something here in our community post. It was only a very short time, unfortunately, before this live stream started, or I'm sure we would have more responses, but I just want to show you what we've got so far. So the question I asked was, many creators and outlets covering Kylie Rodney case have reported being hacked and or unexplainable software or equipment malfunctions. Have you heard anything like this? If you have, please share in the comments below if you're comfortable doing so. So Henceforcer says, thanks for offering this, Kelly. Kudos to you. Curious Rose, good friend of the channel, says, a few creators and some of Kylie's families had accounts that they were hacked. Such a strange and eerie case. Blondie says, I've heard of a few creators saying their computers seem to be working wonky since a certain night. Tsunami says, LOL, short answer. The short answer, yes, there's definitely hacking going on. And then Blondie responded saying, I agree. Interesting, huh?
That's what they do, Kelly. That's what they do. There's some bad actors out there that will.
Oh, no doubt.
I mean,
yeah.
We saw it with the Watts case. There was definitely some hacking going on, and this is kind of prepared to be, if not already is, like at that level. So yeah, I totally believe it. And you know, it is what it is, but you have to protect yourself. There are ways that you can do that. Change your passwords often. Multi-step authentication processes. Don't click on any links from people you don't know or trust. I mean, these are like basic things that they teach us at work, but they're going to definitely help you guys. Just kind of protect yourself online because, oh, and of course, VPN, like definitely get yourself a VPN.
That's
it's totally
right.
worth it.
Yeah, that's right. Oh boy. Here we go again. All right, my family's going to start hating me. They're going to be like, we don't know you anymore. Who are you?
Okay, Erin just posted that she's leaving for a minute to find the video so she can see who posted the specific.
Is it when they're underwater?
Yes.
Okay, so I got to that part in the released video. I don't know if that's going to do it, but let's take a look anyway, because I also want to look at Nick's reaction after he surfaces from what he found.
Okay.
And Erin, if there's something more, and thank you, honey, I appreciate that. All right. Oops. Okay. Thank you guys so much for coming up on panel today. I always love having you up on panel, but especially when I'm like really losing my voice. You guys are priceless. Thank you very much.
Sounded exhausted.
Yeah, it's just I don't have a voice.
Well, when you're a teacher all day, that's all you do is present. I remember teaching at my job, and at the end of the day, you get worn out, and your voice is gone.
Yeah, I'm a little beat right now. Viewer discretion is advised. Trigger warning. All those things we say, but seriously, if you feel like this is something you don't want to see, please stop watching.
I see the vehicle and the license plate. We have just found Kylie's vehicle. Over.
10-4. Do a full assessment, methodically, slowly. Make sure you focus on footage of the vehicle so that we can accurately relay that to the authorities.
The vehicle is upside down. I repeat, it is upside down. I'm at the rear of the vehicle now.
So we're looking for a seatbelt on the outside of the trunk
10-4.
door.
I read you loud and clear.
I'm approaching the driver's side window, trying to get a look inside.
She says one of the creators actually did a close-up of it so that we can see it. She went to get the video.
All right, and then just please let us know who the creator is. So, well, first of all, I can decide if I can use their footage or not, and then if I think that I have a relationship with them where I can, we'll give them credit and all that.
Okay.
Thank you, Erin.
So the vehicle is upside down. So the door would be closed on the top of the screen, right, Kelly? Sorry, I get mixed up and turned around.
Yeah, I know. Well,
I need like a visual or something, a
The
diagram.
roof is sitting on the floor of the lake.
Right. That's what
Okay.
I'm imagining. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I believe we're looking at. Yeah, we're looking at the driver, passenger. You see the sticker? You can see it's still intact.
Yeah. Good observation.
Positively identified.
And that window is partially down on the driver's side, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking in the back now.
10-4.
Yeah, so you saw the orientation there. So it's partially down and the vehicle is upside down, just for anyone who's trying to get their orientation.
Anybody inside here? I'm looking in the back
So you see there?
now.
10-4. Take your time. Be safe.
I see a pair of shoes.
Back. I'm moving my way towards the back window.
I see a pair of shoes. I'm making my way towards the back window.
10-4. I read you loud and clear.
I just confirm there are human remains in the vehicle. Over.
10-4.
The driver, is that the driver's side and it's busted out, or? No, that's the passenger side, right? The front window on the passenger side is busted out?
Yes.
Yes.
The passenger driver's side, it's busted out.
The passenger front is busted out, right?
Yes, the one that has the steering wheel is intact with the sticker.
Right.
The passenger side is busted out.
Okay.
Passenger window is broken out. It appears.
And the mirror is fine at this point. Okay.
Rear driver's side window is halfway down.
Copy that. Rear driver's side window is down.
Line the line and the very top side.
I must have missed it. I didn't see it.
Can we look at that last
Wait. Yes, but I just want you to watch the reaction here too.
Yep. That's what we do it for, brother. Good job. Good job. It's positive, you know? All right.
She's in the back of the vehicle. She's not in the driver's seat. It looks suspicious to me.
Yeah.
Vehicle's upside down. Some of the one window is halfway down. One window is all the way down. Call the authorities.
Yeah, we'll go back to that last part.
Yeah, he's definitely shaken because,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
this is a terrible, terrible situation.
10-4.
Yeah.
Passenger window is broken out. It appears.
So it looks like the back passenger window is up all the way. So we've only got the driver's side rear that is halfway down, and then the passenger front window, which is broken out, correct?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rear Driver's side window is halfway down.
Copy that. Rear driver's side window is down.
Line the line and turn top side.
Right there. I'd like to take a look at that.
Okay, so I'll just go back like 5-10 seconds. Okay.
Right there. What are we looking at here?
Oh, it's like looks like a piece of mesh.
There's something casting a shadow on the door.
There is. You can see it just above the shadow. There's something sticking out where the top of the hatchback comes down. I'm wondering
It looks like a piece of mesh or something. Yeah.
I think that's the seatbelt. It's black. I have a feeling.
Yeah, it might be.
The belt.
It looks like vinyl or mesh. Yeah.
Is down.
My inclination was
that might be what Erin's talking about. We'll wait till she comes back and see what she has to say.
Right. I could put this in. I should put this in my video editor to clear it up and slow it way down.
Oh, it is. Erin is saying yes. That is the seatbelt. It was
That's it.
confirmed.
Okay.
But why would there be a seatbelt in the hatchback?
Could be one of those straps that hold cargo.
Oh, like a cargo strap. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, there's
And why would
that's
it be
something sticking out for sure.
Well,
and why would it be? Why would it be sticking out?
It's going to interfere with that hatch closing correctly. Again, having that car, having had that car, there are cargo straps back there.
Mm-hmm. Imagine how many times I've done this on the meet security camera footage driveway. I'm just kidding. There it is.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, a cargo strap.
You know, did they tie her down? Is it some kind of a bungee type effect where that they could?
Well, if she were tied down, it'd be secured, wouldn't it? And not hanging out the back, I would think.
Well, it depends on whether or not pinching it between
and how
the
long it's been
hatchback and the
underwater.
bottom was a manner in which it would retain her.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Let me see what or there's a belt in the hatchback. Thank you, Erin. Thank you for pointing that out. So Blondie asks, hey, we are just reading your comment in response to my post, by the way. Thank you for responding, Blondie. Blondie says, does anyone own that kind of car that they can say there is not a pull strap on the back of the car? So Yarn and Mittens used to have that car, and she said that there were cargo straps.
Yes, I didn't have that exact model, but we had cargo straps in ours. And also, the way that the belts are in the back of those cars, there's a lot of room to pull those back seat belts backwards. So the seat belt.
What's the model again? What's the name of the car again?
It's a 2013 CRV.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I think that the belts in the back, like the back seat, are retractable.
Yes.
I don't know, but I guess like at one point,
I would concur that that's a seatbelt that we're looking at.
I don't know. I would think more of a cargo belt, like a cargo strap. But if it were on the outside of the vehicle,
let's take a look at this.
It's probably not going to be
here. I got
tying
a goodie for
anything
you.
down.
Here, I got this. Let's take a look at this. I got something because I always got something.
That car also has a hood in it, a cargo cover that you can pull forward and hide what's underneath it. from anyone.
There it is.
Can you see what I'm showing? Can you see me navigating around the back?
That's what
Yep,
that's
that's
what I'm
it.
talking about.
So we have the mesh netting in the side. Then we have the, the what you were just talking about. Now I also see, right where you would pull up this, like, I don't know what it's called. I'm tired, so I'm going to call it a trap door. There's like a little, looks like there's like a little piece of vinyl right there where you would pull it up. I don't know if that's exactly the case or not.
And then underneath would be like the spare, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Actually,
then,
that will rise up farther, and you can put duffel bags, so on and so forth.
yeah, like it's an extra cargo. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Or just, yeah. Cool. Okay. Huh. Well, since we're at it.
So how many straps were there? I'm counting 3.
Well, look at
but
this.
I'm on my phone, so I don't know.
Look at this. Now this has a full. This is a 2013. This is a full cargo net.
Yeah, and our Prius has the net like that, and then
on the
little
sides,
trapdoor.
it's almost like straps,
Yeah, the netting doesn't have a belt on it though. The netting is more like cording.
But it had like, see on the sides of the netting though, like if the netting was detached, I don't know. Let's see here. There's a close up netting. So that's where the netting connects. Yeah, so that's that.
And those on the side there, are those the cargo straps?
I'm not sure. This
I'm on
side
my
here.
phone, so yeah, I'm sorry, I can't see.
Yeah,
very
I'm not
well.
sure. I'm on my computer and I can't really tell. I don't know. So that's what's up with that. Oh my goodness. Let me see if anyone has anything questions. Let's see here. Or comments to share in chat. Let's see. So Flipbox says, if the back seats were down, I don't think they would have a need to make that comment. But I don't know. Yeah, right. So if the back seats were down, I guess that was a question. Would he have to say they were all the way in the back? Or would he just say they were in the back as in not in the, that's a good question, yeah. Yeah. Downtown Wonder says maybe Kylie was passed out in the back. Yeah, Corey points out the gap is too narrow. We just showed that vehicle. Be really hard.
Well, there was that one creator that has that model, and she like measured the distance from the roof to the top of the back seat, and she demonstrated how she, who's probably maybe just a few pounds heavier than Kylie, because Kylie was pretty thin, could easily get through the back. I mean, she didn't float back there, especially if the car was overturned. But it's possible that she could have crawled or swam.
Adding water, adding the headrests, having had a Honda CR-V for many years and children, it would not have been that easy.
So Flipbox says, but didn't AWP say that it would be incredibly difficult to pass through the cargo space upside down? Yes, that's correct. When they made that comment, I'm assuming the seats were not down in the back seat. Is that correct? Well, you're bringing up a very good point, because the way that they were framing it was that there would be X amount of space between the headrest and the ceiling of the vehicle. So they wouldn't be framing it with that language and giving that visual if that weren't the case. I couldn't imagine a reason why. Good point.
Well, here's the thing. When the car starts to fill up, and if that back window were already open, like we don't know which way the car flipped. And I heard Doug confirm on another channel that the front of the car was facing the lake rather than the shore. So that leads me to believe that the car flipped like vertically or longitudinally like it would normally. But if that other window were down, did it flip diagonally? Because it was facing the shore once it flipped over and they pulled it out. So that's kind of like a big question I have. I don't know if it flipped laterally or if it flipped diagonally or if it flipped laterally and longitudinally based on
it's
window.
14 feet of water. So my impression was, and I think this makes sense when you think about the physics of it, that I think it ended up on its roof after the front like kind of undercarriage going in, not quite vertically, but at a grade moving towards vertical, hit the bottom, and then the flip happened. Like that's my understanding from everyone that I've heard speak about it.
That's my understanding too.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of leads me to another question because the car would be facing the other direction if that were the case. So was it backed in? Like, did they and I'm saying they because that's just, did she or possibly they, unfortunately release the parking brake when they were on the shore and then they just kind of backed in and somebody got out and somebody didn't? Or did that front passenger side window break upon impact with the bottom of the lake? Is that something that happens? I don't know. I've watched a few of AWP's other videos, and it seems like a lot of the time the windows are intact. It's just hard because I don't know the physics and everything of it, but it's just a lot of questions now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump down and go to bed.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same pretty soon. Thank you so much for being on tonight. I really appreciate Yarn and Mittens. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of questions, and it's hard to wrap your head around it. But I believe that she was possibly with somebody else, and they broke that passenger window and got out before she did, and she was trying to get out but couldn't. And that's kind of my take home. At this stage, without any further evidence, that's kind of where I'm at this point.
Yeah.
All right, Kelly. Well, I hope you have a good night. I'm glad you had a good first day at work.
Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it. Thank
Love
you.
you, hon.
Yeah, love you too. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah. So, all right, guys. So, so isn't this how it often ends up? Just as many questions as we had answers, if any answers were found. I mean, these are difficult questions to answer. Let's see. Let me just check here. Right. Ara makes an important point. In one day, 20 agencies decide she was not in water. How did that happen? Was she not in water at that point? Did they rush to conclusions? Isn't their responsibility to the public and to finding this young girl and to her family more important than anything else they had to do that week, that day, that year? How did these things happen? Why did these things happen? Yeah, I mean, I just fully respect AWP, and I do think that they're experts in many different areas. I mean, I don't know how many people have gone scuba diving on, not like a resort dive, but, well, even that is challenging, but they're experts. I'm gonna settle with that. So you're saying did you find a similar video, or did we have the video, Aaron? And thank you so much again for pointing that out. Interesting point. Joe, welcome, says, the tow truck driver was talking about the seatbelts also. I find it bizarre that there's a seatbelt in the video that the tow truck driver was talking about one as well. Yeah. I think that earlier, we definitely, I think many people agree, some of the earlier conversation about the seatbelts is Kylie clearly calling out for help. Went right over that man's head. Good point. Anaphylaxis, as always, says so much is just speculation at this point until we get the autopsy results. Ara, with the most emphatic point of view that I've seen this evening, which is good, Ara. We need some decisiveness here. Says if she drove in due to impairment, then she avoided all cars and trees before getting into water. Nope, I don't buy it, especially because she was parked around trees. I mean, it's a great point. So many great points. Princess Megan Elsa, oh, I love the name, says, I believe foul play, in my opinion. Pochi Winner says, Ara, I don't think she could fit out the window when the flip. She needed air ASAP, so she went to the back. Princess Megan also says anything is possible, which really is the punchline always, right? Oh, thank you, Ocean's Daughter. Great to see you here. Let's see. So, Ara, you were saying what? That you have some videos. Please go ahead and put the link to your videos if you want, Ara. I would love for you to do that. So, Ara has a channel that has some conversations, streams, and information. She says, I have some videos where we would discuss this when the car was found, if anyone wants to check it out. Yeah, so please go ahead and put the links. That would be great. Heather, really great question. And, I haven't heard of anybody looking for a window punch. My grandfather always made sure I had one in my car. I don't know why he would have put one in my car before and then they wouldn't be in there. What the hell did I do with it? I don't know, because I certainly didn't break any windows while I was submerged underwater. But that's a story. So Heather says, has anyone looked for any type of tool that would have broke the passenger front window out with, like a window punch? Like they make those tools, especially for breaking a window underwater. Window punch. I hadn't heard of that, but that's a really good question. I'm hoping that was done. But I mean, look at the way the investigation went. Oh, yes. Please, on your way out, please hit like and subscribe if you haven't, and hit the bell for notifications for the channel. Oh. Similar video. So she says, I found a similar video by Miss Harmony. It's about the seatbelt. Let's see. I'll check it out. I don't know Miss Harmony, so let me see who this is and what the dealio is. Thank you, Aaron, though. Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Thank you so much, Erin, though. I'll check that out for sure. Awesome. She has some other videos. So Miss Harmony, who Erin just mentioned, has some videos about this, the Kylie Rodney case. Some things I don't think I'd seen before. So go check out Miss Harmony. I have no idea who that is, but looks like she has some interesting stuff. So, oh, I think that was her voice. I don't want to go there right now. I'm too tired. All right. Anaphylaxis, amen. Truth is stranger than fiction. And I think on that words of wisdom from Anaphylaxis, I think maybe we'll close up. Hello, Grandma's Corner. How are you? How many people they have found? Sorry. Oh, let's see. Oh, I picked up like mid-comment there. Telio, did I? I am a Philly girl. I didn't even realize I said that. Oh, man. Well, good find, though. Maybe she'll have some good stuff for us, Erin. Good find, good find. Okay, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you to Yarn and Mittens and DC Primetime. I really appreciate you guys very much. Thanks for coming up. And to Ara, Utter Nutter. Gosh, who else did I have in chat that was moderating? Pride or Honesty was here for a little while. I don't know, was Nancy here? I don't know. Everyone that was here, everyone in chat, thank you for being respectful, for contributing so much to the conversation, so much information to me. Because as I said, I do not know these facts, certainly the way I know Chris Watts facts. I think a lot of people don't know these facts the way we know the Chris Watts facts because we've been studying those for 4 years. And these are emerging. There aren't even necessarily a whole lot of facts to go on. So thank you for working through this with me, looking through this with me, and doing the best that we can to come to the conclusions that are necessary so we can do our part in ensuring that complete justice is served for Kylie Rodney and her family. Everyone be safe, and I'll see you guys again soon. And guys, if you could kindly hit like on your way out, I would greatly appreciate it.